Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So today, I just wanted to share a nice analogy that I heard in a Friday khutbah just recently. And it's basically the idea that when we go on a trip, we basically plan for it, right? So if we're going on a trip that's a couple hours away and we're going for the day, we'll pack accordingly and kind of just, hop in the car and drive. If we're going on a trip for a couple of days, we're going, in a small airplane ride and visiting family, couple states away or something, we'll plan for it accordingly, right? We'll pack a small suitcase, we'll prepare for it, we'll buy the airplane ticket and then go. But if we're going somewhere for like 2 months, then we plan a little bit better, right? We plan earlier, we buy airplane tickets earlier, we basically pack a lot bigger suitcase and we make sure we're ready to go. Now, if we're going somewhere for 2 years, you plan even more, right? You're going to turn off the utilities in your house. You're going to make sure that the accommodation you're going to is appropriately set up. You're going to pack all your stuff. You're going to make arrangements for the stuff that you're leaving behind, right? Because you're going for a couple of years and you know that you need to prepare for it, right? So it's not just on a whim. You basically start preparing earlier for it. So what about a trip that lasts forever, right? It lasts for eternity, right? Because the hereafter, the akhirah, it does last for eternity, right? So similarly, we should pack appropriately, right? We should prepare for it. We should get ready for it and be ready for that journey, be ready for that trip, right? So, just think about it. When we move into a new house, right, we do all this legwork, we do all this homework, right? We make sure it's not in a flood zone, we make sure that the roof is intact, that the air conditioner works. We do all this inspection and investigation to make sure it works, right? But what about our home for the hereafter, where we're going to be staying and living forever, right? Don't we need to prepare for it and make sure that we are well equipped to move into that new home, inshallah, that will be, last us for eternity? And so, I guess like the take home message for this is one thing that we can implement that I think is really important is just to do these small but good deeds consistently and always be working on improving ourselves, right? So, I'm kind of a math nerd. So one of the things is if you take the number 1 and you do it to 360 to the power of 365, the investment people always talk about this, right? If you do 1 and you do it to the power of 365, that is still 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, 365 times. It still only equals 1, right? But if you take 1.01, meaning it's only a 1% increase, 1.01, and you do that to the 365th power, which is 1.01 times 1.01 times 1.01, so only 1% more effort, it comes out to more than 37, right? So that is a 3,000%, more than a 3,000% increase in your returns financially, right? So similarly, if we're only improving maybe by 1% regularly, we will have this greater outcome, right? We will have this exponentially better return on our spirituality and our good deeds and the returns we get in the hereafter, inshallah. So even if it's small but consistent, that's the take-home message, right? So inshallah, let's work on improving ourselves, preparing for the hereafter, doing our inspection for the hereafter, and preparing for this journey that will last much longer than 2 months or 2 years or 20 years or 20 decades, right? But we prepare for it, and by the time we get there, then we're so grateful for the benefit and the efforts that we put in for it, inshallah. All right, jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.